Hello and welcome. This is Kevin, also known as AWOL, and we're back with this bag that I'm working on. I've been working on this for a few weeks now. I'm not sure how long exactly, but it's come along nicely. We're finally to the point where I might have to start adding strings. I have some cut up. It's off to the side, and yeah, we can maybe deal with that as we go along. So here, I'm going to raise this up here a bit so it's on my way. And I am joined tonight by my lovely wife, Mandy. And hang on a second. I wanted to check to see if we still have the same problems with the iPad. Let's see if I can find. There we go. Cool. Oh, maybe toss on some specs so I can see what I'm doing here. It's short, but maybe not quite replacing size just yet. I don't know. And it's not particularly like everything in here is even. This area over here was where the pattern is coming down. This one is going off to the right. This part is coming down, and this part is going up. So because there's so many differences, there may be spots in here where the lengths of the strings are different. Like this blue here is particularly getting short. So like it'll get changed soon. Just not right now. My big concern is I want to make it so that way I don't have to replace the strings like it twice. Like I'm trying to get far enough down in it that it'll be enough to take me all the way to the end. Also, another thing is going to be that when it comes time to changing the string, it's likely to have to be several at once because of the way that the pattern works. All the strings are pretty much the same length when they started in the same area and we're doing the same stuff. So that's kind of a thing. Kind of quiet around here today. I got stories to talk about, but I kind of want to wait till people get here. These are the things I can do without. Come on. I'm talking to you, so come on. Shouldn't have to do this. Maybe everybody's saving their strength to come and join in with tomorrow's hangout. So the thing we do with the members here, YouTube members can hang out with us live on first Sundays of the month. So we live to shout the tale. These are the things I could do without. Come on. Talking to you. This is one heck of a long row. Well, somebody joined us. Seemed to be maybe not logged in. It's a possibility. And then they're gone. I guess it's just stayed quiet. I'm not sure how much we'll get accomplished tonight. We last week we ended up stopping a bit earlier because I was feeling a bit under the weather. So I'm not actually sure how far a 3-hour stream gets me. Well, welcome, welcome. Tell your husband my hands are a bit tied at the moment. I can't look at his posts that he's sharing with me. My watch just went zzz, zzz, to let me know he was sending another one. Cool. Hello. I have not yet. I'm getting really close to it. I've got the string cut. I put it all into one of the totes. Yeah. So I've made the totes because I didn't want to have to keep getting up and walking across the room. It's easier to just undo a bobbin while I'm sitting here. Otherwise, it would be a workout. Getting in and out of the chair all the time would be like doing squats, and I'm not ready for that yet. Especially when it comes time to doing it, it's going to be like eight or more in a row. Hey, Rara, welcome. The better part of this week, I have been under the weather. I finally went and saw a doctor on Friday, and so now I'm on antibiotics, which is helping me feel much, much better. Antibiotics and steroids. So yeah, I'm feeling better. We uh, we didn't go to the doctor like earlier because it wasn't really a sinus infection. It was just a lot of mucus. But then come Friday, it finally became an infection and decided it was time to go get help. I love how this cat has got so many names. No, no, that's we. It may have started. I think it started with an earache that has somehow progressed to getting, upper respiratory. Then it got into the chest. Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't fun. But like I said, I'm feeling better today, so that's good. It's Betty is back, and yes, thank you. I do feel much better. Aw. Mm. This is typically the kind of challenges I enjoy, but nothing's coming out to mind yet. Hang on, let me let me stew on this. Aw. Well, if it's a loving thing, then it could be like something like a sweet tooth or sugar tooth. True story. Somebody was bringing a duck through the 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 fair thing. And it was a really really pretty duck. It was like all white. Yeah, it was pretty intense. Oh, Rah Rah probably hasn't seen. Have you seen the pictures of us at the what was it called, the Hobbies Fair? Yeah, it did go really really well. It was a lot of fun. Met a lot of people. Um, the fair was really, really cool. There was a lot of neat people. And like I met so during the SG50, there was an ad on TikTok, sorry, where this guy was talking about how he uses TikTok for business. And when I went to wander around, take a little break, I actually run into the guy. I'm like, hey, weren't you like in an ad or something? He's like, yeah, it was SG50 or 60. And it was with his stickers. So I ended up buying some of his stickers just because I thought that was so cool. So I don't know if anybody else like recognized him for that, but I thought it was neat. Yeah, 60. Sorry.
Speaking of his stickers, this is one of them.
Did you do the thing I told you about doing?
What did you tell me about this?
About making a thing like your eye roll that makes that pop up like that?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Wow. You actually listened to me. I feel kind of special now. Yeah, I got the sticker that Kopi is life. Oh, I got a dice while we were there. I got a 12. What does that mean? Oh, I just got a notification earlier that my YouTube channel has turned 17 years old. And I had to double check to make sure I was accurate, and it was. Um, I started this account because I was messing around trying to do some stop motion, um, I guess it's movie making or motion photography, where I tie a knot, take a picture, tie a knot, take a picture, that kind of thing. And I made this little short video, and I wanted to show Mandy it, and it was too big for what we were using for chat. So then I made a YouTube account just for that. Now that video has been seen hundreds of thousands of times, and if I had realized back then with all of the requests for people asking like for a pattern or to teach how I made the bracelet or anything, if I had listened to it, I'd probably be a much bigger YouTube person than I am, because back then there was just fewer people out there on this platform. It would have been easier to have grown and stuff over the years, but hindsight's 2020. So now do I have to roll for consequence? Fucking Central Park. Then after dark. People think I'm crazy. Shuffling down the street. Shuffling down the street. Asking people, what's the matter with you, boy? Sometimes I say to myself, Sometimes I say. Oh, so members might notice that I have kind of fallen behind on being ahead with videos, and that a lot of that has to do with the fact that my main monitor went weird. It was like really, really weird. Like the bottom third of it just ended up in stripes where they were like alternating and not in the right order. So that way, like you could see a double vision of everything. Even the mouse, when it went through there, you'd see like two mice, and you'd kind of have to like guess whether or not you're connected or not. So after what was it, maybe a week or so of talking to the techs, they decided that yes, it was covered by warranty. It wasn't my fault, and got me a replacement. So we finally got that here. I was I didn't want to have to pull the cables and everything out because I got like kind of routed through the arm and stuff. And that basically it's the same monitor model. So I assumed everything was going to be the same. So the dude, like, we swapped and whatever. And I'm like, cool. And as I'm standing here, like trying to like figure out like how to put the brackets and stuff on it, I suddenly noticed that the power supply was completely different. I had to dart out of the house like a madman, fly down a flight of stairs, and run after a van that was. It got to the stop sign. If it had passed that, it would have been a hard press for me to actually have caught the guy. I'm like, hang on, hang on. He's like, what? I'm like, it's a different power supply. It was so bad. So guess that's behind us. Wait, should I roll for hindsight? A 19. That gotta be good, right? Yeah, this next row for sure. Like this is getting really short. Of course, when the strings get shorter, it actually ties up faster, and so that means the thing kind of moves along a little bit quicker. But then there's a point where that stops being true, and it starts to become harder and harder to hold on to like little wisps of string. It's all about trying to find the right spot to do it. I should get back into playing like D&D style games. Did I tell you I used to work with a guy who actually makes those kind of games. Um, very like they weren't the dragon types. They were like um have their various themes or whatever. And one of his themes, he got a letter from Hollywood, somebody's remaining anonymous, wanted to let him know that they were using his game to create a movie, which but he didn't want to be named for doing it or whatever because he was afraid of like never working in the industry again. And the movie came out or whatever, and then became a TV series. It was oh shoot, I already forgot his name. What's the one with the gate that you go through? Stargate. So yeah, Stargate was a game that I coworker of mine created, and they thought it was such a good idea they actually used the game itself to actually create a movie. I think it's pretty neat. I remember I played one once before where the basically you were starting out in a very rural community, and it turns out there were vampires on the loose. And it was like one of the things you kind of like discovered as you went along that like, oh, dead person, holes in their neck. Uh-oh, this can't be good. But yeah, so there's all kinds of different variations on the game. Some of it can be really fun though. It's good for people who have like a big imagination. Yeah, this blue is definitely short. No, I haven't seen that. The Last of Us?
I have.
Really? Was it good?
Mhm. Yeah. That's a really good one.
How did that pop up? Oh, you heard the word join. Cool. Yeah, that's well, no. Early October, you can have like that Indian summer where you get a nice warm whatever. Our weather here is pretty much the same all year round. We're about 1 degree off the equator. So the difference between the longest night or longest day and the shortest day is about 30 minutes. So it's pretty much the same. It kind of depends on which way the winds are blowing as to where the rain and stuff comes from, but it doesn't change a whole lot. Yeah, but 22 is like super rare. Yeah, it's not bad. Yep. We can get like really like 27-degree nights with like humidity like 80%. It just basically, if you're out for a walk, you just get drenched. I know this because I went one time all the way up to Mandy's house just to give her a kiss goodnight and headed back for the trains and stuff. And I got there so late that the trains were shutting down, and I ended up having to walk the rest of the way home. And it was so hot and so sticky, and my shirt was absolutely drenched by the time I got back to where I was staying. It was absolutely like the worst. And my cell phone battery was dying, like not quite dead, but getting there. And I didn't have any cash on me, so I couldn't like just get a car or something. Yeah, we get torrential storms, like crazy, crazy, crazy storms. Twice this week, we have been here where all of a sudden everything went black, and then you hear the clap of thunder and the flash of the light or whatever, and the big kaboom, and then realize that it went dark because the power went out before you ever even heard the thunder. Yeah. The only other time I've ever seen storms as strong as the Singapore storm is when I was down in Florida. They get practically a tropical type storms. Oh, my new craft. That I'm pretty sure you saw it while at the hobby fair. My Makey Shun Great Again hat has come in the mail. So we're gonna go out somewhere and get some pictures around some kind of Ishun monument or recognizable spots. Girl, look at that body. Girl, look at that body. It worked out. Girl, look at that body. That worked out. Right? The dam is a good one. Okay. Have a good one, my new craft. Oh no, earworm. No, 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 no. Get you out of my head. Like, wait, at a coffee company like a Starbucks kind of thing where you're making the coffee, or like a coffee company where like you make the bags that go out to get sold or used someplace else? Ooh, that's way cool. Project? Hey. Join the club. Why do you think I think your job is so neato? There was a skit on Saturday Night Live where there was a group of people standing around a 55-gallon barrel with long straws, and they were supposedly like consuming the caffeine, to have decaffeinated coffee. It was one of the funniest skits. But you get to see stuff like how, ooh, cool. Maybe not the first person from India, but there has been a lot. But Robert, yeah, the you get to see how they get the roasting to be consistent. We met a guy that was brewing coffee and roasting it himself on his little farm, and he said one of the hardest things he had was trying to get it to roast consistently. He was growing his coffee beans in Indonesia. So Rajay, is this the uh, type of art that you do in India as well, or you're just interested in this? Oh, cool. Singapore is a beautiful country. You should check it out sometime if you get a chance. Yeah, no kidding. Well, the one gal, she's in, what was it, Wisconsin. So like that's got to be like 9,000 miles away, like halfway around the world at least. No, but we've talked about going to India because they have big tea plantations and my wife loves tea. I'm a coffee drinker. My wife's a tea drinker. Ooh, how is Sri Lanka? I wanted to go to there. Is that the one that's got the train that goes way up into the mountain? Yeah. What's a practice funeral party? That that strikes me as something. India's amazing. The food, I love Indian food. We get a lot of that here in Singapore because a lot of Indians come over here to work, and then so they obviously are going to want food that reminds them of back home, and so we're fortunate enough to get to enjoy that. And it's not just from like one area; like they have stuff from the north, stuff from the south. It's amazing. Moderate on life. What is that? Well, I'm not understanding what he's saying. Oh, to become oh, no, I can't. Wow. So I've seen some stuff about like passing away and like wanting to like have certain vibes and things. Um, my sister had a mask made in case they couldn't have an open casket funeral. She had a mask done of her face that would have been on top should the event happen or whatever. So I thought that was kind of one of the coolest things. But actually, to like set aside money to make sure it's a cool thing, that's new. That's different. Yeah, no, I don't have. They don't put people in as monitors or whatever. We've only got the one is my wife, the one you talked to, Mandy. Wave, honey. Yeah, that's Mandy. She's my wife. She gets to do it. One mother. The smiley faces become from being a member. You want to become a member and have a smiley face next to your name? That would work. I'd be really curious as to how much it costs in India to become a member. She's That's my wife right there. She's awesome. Yeah, yeah. This Can you see where I'm pointing? Wife. Yeah. My only other moderator has been a member for over a year and has kind of proven herself as being worthy of being a monitor. It's not something I take lightly because of the fact that they can ban people from, you know, the whole chat and everything. It's just, yeah, it's not something I'm comfortable giving it to just anybody. Yeah, no, it's okay that you can request, but I can't do it. You're gonna join? That's cool. Yeah, how much? There's a button down there next to subscribe that says join. I'm curious, how much is it in India? You're requesting me what? I'm sorry, I misunderstood. I thought you were asking to join and become a member. All you have to do is there's a button next to subscribe. It says join. Yeah, it's hard to get a YouTube channel to grow. Mm. What's your channel about? Get out the way, bitch. Get out the way. Oh, oh, down. Good night, show. Lights out. You thinking of a bunch of you? Get out the way. Get out the way. Move. Nice meeting you too. Get out the way. Get out the way. Get out the way. Get out. All right. Another big section done. Oh, I thought it was way further than I was. Just big enough for an A5 book. That's pretty much what it's gonna. There's a couple books I carry around with me when I go out, in case I come up with ideas for like bracelet designs or something. I sketch in my notebook, and I'm gonna make it big enough to hold that. Hey, it's A5, right, honey? Those books.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, I like to use those books when I was like coming up with ideas for like the Christmas ornaments and stuff. Um, so what I kind of have to do is these ones are all going off to the right, and then like these ones here are going to go off to the left, and then they'll come back together after the little diamond gets made right here. So I'm just kind of like finding where 2 points where I can kind of, here, let me slide this over a little bit. Finding 2 points where it's going to go out and back in. It's it's kind of hit or miss. I mean, there's no like set rules as to how it works. It's just this particular pattern, sort of. And like you can see, like this side only has to go this far, and this side I had to go this far. Again, that's because each one of these segments is kind of different. Like these are both coming downwards, but this one's going off to the right. So it's making like a bigger space between where these two arrow thingies are. Yeah, there's definitely some strings in here that are getting short. This blue is really short. So I knew that like my strings would get short, so I did this. Hang on, show you. I have a tote full of all the colors already all chopped up, ready to go. Um, but I'm trying to make sure I'm past the halfway point before I tap into that. So that way I make sure I can go all the way to the end of the bracelet or the end of the bag. Is Rainbow still here?
Rainbow hasn't been here.
Oh, thought she came in at some point. Yeah, I do. I cut my strings in thirds. It makes it longer than say just a quarter, so it kind of makes it less likely that I'll run out during a project. What was that? Something cheeped like a bird. Right. So you could hear it too. What on earth was that? It came through my headphones, which typically it would mean that it came from Mandy's side. Right. Yeah. Um, yeah, 1/2 would be definitely way too long. That would be um well, string is 8 meters, so it'd be 4 meters long. And then when you fold that in half, it'd still be more than it'd be 2 meters hanging down either side. That would be ridiculous. My shoulder, I can just already imagine the pain of trying to pull that string through. Yeah, no 1/3 is like a real nice length. It's just long enough to not cause me physical harm. Mind you, it took me a little while getting used to it because I used to cut my string in quarters. But when I switched to thirds, there was a little duration of trying to get used to it, get the feel for it. Yeah, it's exactly. I see all these people who use like, calculators to determine what length to cut their strings at. If you're using embroidery floss from a skein, it doesn't make any sense to me. Like you could end up having a scrap left over at the end of it, but is that scrap even usable? Like it doesn't make sense. Like if I cut in thirds and I use two of those in a bracelet, I have one left over for another project. And I know that it'll work for that project because the length is long enough. Um, so I use up all the string pretty well. I mean, there's a bunch left over at the end of a bracelet, but I was assured that I could make that bracelet without having any trouble. And to me, that's kind of worth it. Well, I don't measure. I put it. I have a hook that hangs off of the cage that goes around my desk. I put it on the hook, and it says like that's one loop. Put the ends together, and then gather part of the string, put it over the loop, and then take the two ends to the looped end, bring it down, one little snip, and I got three pieces perfect. Ideal. Oh, make your yeah. All right, that would work. I had a really good friend of mine who his brother only uses wood to heat his house. He's got like one of those little like wood burners that like you close the door on and stuff. And he works at a tree removal place. So basically, he gets his firewood for free, and it basically cut the gas bill so much that the gas company came out to inspect like how is he like heating his house when he's got like no gas bill. Like the only time he uses gas like for the stove or whatever. So they were very disappointed to find out the man had a way to do that. So yeah, I totally get it. It's a great way of saving money. Starting to get little cramps in my hands, so I'm taking um, why they call it this, I have no idea. It's called leg cramps. That's what this medicine is actually like says on the package. Makes absolutely no sense to me. It sounds like a prescription to get cramps as opposed to relieve them. One of the things about having all these different points at the top different, that's going to make this a little bit different from anything I've ever done before, is the fact that the strings that need replaced, normally it's like very systematic all the way across the whole project. I know which color I have to change at or what's going on. But this one, like these blues and stuff here, are really nice and long. They barely got, you know, any work into them at all. But the blues over here are really super short. And so it's basically, I have to just kind of size it up and like determine when it happens. It's sort of, it's so different from most my projects are. But this one was so unique. That's why I'm kind of basically decided to keep it for myself, unless somebody else really puts in an offer that, you know, makes me think twice. I'm probably just going to keep this for myself because it's so much fun. Yes, I do. It's not an awful lot. I actually make more from the members than I do from the ads, but it's a little bit of something. It's probably, to be honest, it's probably like $10 or $15 a month from the ads. It really doesn't make, because I don't have like a ton of people watching it. If there's like more people, I guess it would add up more. But yeah. Oh wait, go back to here. But hey, every little bit adds up when it comes to this, so I'm not hating it. Um, there's a skip thing, right? Yeah, I'm not hating on you if you skip it. I understand the ads suck. Yeah. I, I'm pretty sure I probably do more. I probably get more if you watch the whole ad. So if you're asking if yeah, I think so, but I don't know for sure. I have no way of really testing it, and I am curious. Did you get a lot of ads or like just a few? Not sure. Well done there, Rara. On a roll, as in eye roll. Oh, that's weird. Huh. That is strange. Oh, so Rara, you weren't here recently when so the the chat to win game ended because the US has gone and made it ridiculous to ship even just a bracelet. It's like, what was it, $29 to ship a bracelet to the United States? And
I
like
think
that,
so.
and then if it's a bag, it's even worse. That's like 149, right?
Something like that.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane. Plus, the tariffs are on it as well. So yeah, it just got. I had to. I had to end. Yeah, it's made it really really hard to do anything over here. So yeah, I was afraid that because statistically there's more Americans watching, that if they were to win, I wouldn't be able to send the bracelet without like paying an arm and a leg for it. Yeah, I know, right? Are you guys winning yet? Yeah. I don't know if you guys saw it, but there was recently. Oh, 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 crap, my leg. Oh, hang on. Oh, 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 oh. There was recently a thing in Washington where they rounded up all of the high-ranking military officials to give them like a pep talk, and the looks on these guys' face was like, I got dragged halfway around the world to basically, listen to what could have been an email. Like they did not look pleased. And I think the guy who like pulled this all together to make it happen or whatever, I think he expected it to be like all the generals all happy to see him, and like the pep talks and stuff you see in like Korea or whatever. These guys did not look happy. That it was something else. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Like that's like being told, okay, we're no longer going to be politically correct, and we're not going to lose anymore, and like all these guys are just like, what are you talking about? Right? Yeah, because you run a real risk if you speak against it, because Captain Cheeto is going to not be happy having resistance towards the craziness that's going on there. So now I chose this area because I only get this area left to balance it off. I think it was a weird flex. Like, you guys need to obey, and I think it was just a strange flex by the administration. Like, you'll come when we tell you to, even if it's completely useless. And again, I think they were picturing like getting like, dude held his speeches like he was like leaving rooms for applause, and like the room was absolutely utterly silent. Like these guys were not having it. They were not, you know, yay USA. They were like not cool. It was pretty crazy. Yeah, it really was. And the dude that like held the meeting or whatever, he's like, um, yeah, Hegseth or whatever his name is. Yeah, he's like one of these lackeys that Trump picked just because of like having been on TV. Like the guy is not like qualified for anything. Wasn't he like from Fox News? Like that kind of stuff just doesn't make any sense to me. I don't understand that. Yeah, same. Or presidents that resign because they're embarrassed by recording people's conversations
2 hours
because
later.
they got busted. They you know because they no longer had the respect of the people. They decided it was better to call it quits. Like that was a different time, wasn't it? Right. I was in the military back in 1986. Spent all the time in the Navy, and yeah, there was nothing like this back then. There was nothing even close to compare to anything like this. Good luck with that. Uh, I get hair in my bracelets. So yeah, these I also sometimes get Mandy's hair into my bracelets. I know they're Mandy's because they're way too long to be anything from me. Even my back hairs aren't that long. I expected some kind of response for that. I have no idea.
I was just thinking how I have combed my hair into loops.
Sure. And it takes me back to that guy at the trade show. It was like, whoa, this dude's actually making this stuff. Wow, check that out. Whoa. Oh, and your shirt says D's nuts. Is that your own thing? That's so cool. Yay. Like, dude couldn't have been more just jazzed up about the whole experience. It was the coolest thing. Like, yep, it's really, yep, me making a thing. Can I move this? Yeah. Yeah, there is a lot of like people selling stickers and keychains and things that like you may have created the artwork, but then you sent it off to a printer or you're doing it off of your printer at home kind of thing. Like you're not very hands on with the thing itself. You know, you could make hundreds of copies and whatever. Like this is something that each and every one of them has hours of work put into it, making a thing. So yeah. Yeah. Well, I told a number of people that um, basically I don't mind teaching this because if you sit down for any length of time and try to do what I do, you would probably realize that it takes a lot of work and that my prices are very reasonable. And yeah, you can you can always just buy it. If you want to learn it yourself and you learn it, that's pretty cool too. It means there's more of us out there doing this stuff, making cool things. But there's a real reasonable chance that you're just going to say, you know what? I like what you made. I'll just buy it. It's worth it. Unless, of course, you're in America and then you got to pay the $29 shipping fee, which is ridiculous. There's a thing that's going on, though. In the lower courts, they have said that Trump was not allowed to put tariffs any which way he wanted to, that has to come from Congress. And so far, it got bumped, it got like appealed and went to a higher court, who again reaffirmed that Trump does not have the authority to do it. And now it's got to go to the Supreme Court. So there's a possibility when it goes to the Supreme Court, if they shoot it down, those tariffs and all that stuff will come off. So we'll see how it goes. Right, right. I would love to blow glass. I think that would be one of the coolest like crafts that you can do. My thing is could I keep my mind from like ooh, it's glowing, it's so pretty. Can I touch it? Like I just that's the part that would get me. Like I just know that I would get a little too close. Something that's a little too hot. Right. Yeah, I bet. Yeah, there's something called muscle memory, but I'm sure that that's a whole different level of it. Right. Yeah. Like when they have the Renaissance festivals and you see those guys like building swords and stuff. That's so cool. Whacking stuff with a hammer and yeah. Right, right. Way back in the 90s, I had built a self-watering flower pot that sort of had stones and stuff like anchored onto plaster, and there was a pipe that ran up the center that had water overflowing, so it went across all these stones, and there was terracotta flower pots that were set in there with the stones pretty much covering it up, and it looked really really cool. And the plants I had in there, I had like spider plants, and they that absolutely flourished so well because there was air at the base for the roots to be able to get air, but the terracottas always stayed damp, so they had just enough water to be able to really do their thing. And but after a while, the plaster that I had in there was it just basically all eroded away, and the only thing that was holding it all together was the glue stuff that I used to glue the rocks together. And I kept thinking to myself, like, the one substance that if I had the ability to build with would be if I get a glass blower to be able to make that shape that I had created, and then that the glass would have stayed indefinitely, and the whole thing would have worked out so much better. But I never found anybody like capable of putting together what I wanted to build, and I think just the overall shape of it might have been like really too difficult for most to actually build. So yeah, I have kind of fantasized about the craft, but I'm not sure if like what I want is even doable. Right. That sounds like a good time. That'd be so fun. With the right amount of alcohol, I'm sure that my abilities would kind of tune in as well. There's a certain like ADHD thing, like sober, I'm okay, but introduce a little bit of relaxation or whatever, liquid courage or whatever you want. Like, well, used to be some herbage that would do it, but becoming super focused and be able to like really concentrate would become a thing. And yeah, I totally relatable. Yeah, there's a level like beyond the first couple drinks, then it's like, nope, that's not going to work. But like a drink or two, laser focused. I know this from bracelet making. I know this from bracelet designing. Couple drinks and I'm creative and like on the ball and able to dream up stuff in my head. But a couple more than that, and I can't find my way back to the hotel room. I expected Mandy to respond to that one because I'm sure she remembers the incident where I had like four doubles and like kind of staggered my ass to the restaurant, and then like even though all the food didn't sober me up, I was just like we. She had to like lead the way. Normally, I'm always the one to lead the way. Like nope, I relinquish all my everything's to you. Thank you very much. Just point me in the right direction.
You could barely walk in the right direction.
I know, right? Free booze will do that to you. Don't know why they call it Johnny Walker. It should be Johnny Stagger. My life depended on you, my love. Oh, in other news, somebody over in Michigan um, ran into a YouTuber who tries to do good with people who are like having it rough, but like you have to be like he kind of tested this guy. Like the guy was going into a pawn shop to pawn his wedding ring to be able to get the lights back on, and dude was pretending to be blind and acting like he had fallen down and stuff, and this dude was like super awesome and nice or whatever. So as a result he gave him like $1,000, and then everybody with the YouTube channel like raised up more money to give this guy, and yeah, so it escalated. He ended up getting even some more money, and then he got a car and $100,000. And some of this dude's own family worked with some other shady people to rob him. They like stole the safe out of his house. They held him at gunpoint, made him like withdraw cash at various ATMs around the city. It was like the most horrific thing for a dude who is super, super kind. Like when I say I'm from Detroit and it's not really a great place, it's stuff like this that kind of helps cement that whole idea. Like, yeah, that's just not cool. Yeah, it was a pretty hard story to hear. But Tozy did a real good video covering the whole all the details. Right. Well, the the sad part was because this stuff was all happening with YouTube and whatever, like a lot of people caught wind that, he suddenly had money. And yeah, one of the dudes that was involved was doing it over the phone from a prison. And so they have like the whole dialogue of what he was saying, like, you know, how he basically helped orchestrate the mugging from jail. Like, what the heck, man? All right, well, have a good one, Rara. Thanks for tuning in. If you're free tomorrow, come and join us for the hangout party. It's over on Discord. So I honestly thought that tonight we'd be adding a bunch of string because I knew that some of these were getting short. And in fact, they are like these blues. These are really short. Um, but I went all the way around the whole bag with making the two rows, the ones that have 5 in it and the ones that have 3 afterwards. And this is the last little bit right here. And rather than like leave myself in a spot where I don't know where to come back to it, it's just going to make a whole lot more sense to just call it quits at the end of this little spot here, because it's essentially, it's flat all the way around, which is pretty awesome. Like, again, I wasn't sure like how long it would take to get to having the whole thing. If I still had like another hour left or something, I'd probably keep going. But it's close enough to one that I can think this is pretty reasonable. I'm back here tomorrow. I'm not sure what I'll be working on during the stream. I tend to have something to kind of keep me busy, but there'll be a live stream for members. If you haven't already, it's like $5. Well, no, it's 4 USD. So to become a member of the channel, then you get to join us over on Discord where we hang out, talk about making stuff and pets, and pretty much anything goes. It's pretty cool. So that's tomorrow, and every first Sunday of the month. Oh, and but by the way, members not only get the little smiley face next to their names, which is kind of cool, you actually get to watch the videos early. So like there's a whole month worth of videos up there currently that you could be watching if you were a member. So just a little plug there to maybe entice. And I'll be back next week working on this, where I will definitely be adding string. Probably a lot. Like wherever the rows were long like this is yeah. It's such a challenge. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for everything. If you haven't already, please hit the like button. It really helps out a lot. And as always, don't get your strings in a bunch.